What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and we're going to discuss the markets. This is going to be a quick video. As you guys know, with the house building and stuff, we are now starting to paint. I will be throwing up some updates, so watch for those. Anyways, we're going to look at a few things here. One of them is going to be a video that I made back in 2021 just to show you I had been looking for the bottom of Bitcoin sometime in September. I now say September, October, but the same thing. Called that over a year ago. Nothing has changed yet, and I want to show you guys. So make sure you stick around for the whole video. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. Share the video if you would, and subscribe if you have not, and make sure your notification bells are ticked. So looking at the Dow Jones. We've been talking about a possible spike back up to this range, 34,000. Now, if we get above this and close above, open and close some candles above this, get support and continue up, then there's possibility that the bottom for Bitcoin is in. Although you guys know, I do not think the bottom is in. As I stated, I talked about it over a year ago, probably sometime in September. Now, if you look here, we have a little bit more room to come up and retest this trend line here, which also lines up with this trend line. Does it have to go up there? Absolutely not. It could reverse and go down from here, but this is the highest I see us going. Again, if we start opening and closing dailies above this and remain above this trend line for support, then it could be upwards for Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin relies solely on the markets. It has not decoupled. You're going to hear a lot of stuff like that. You hear it every time we are in these positions. And also, I know there's a lot of fear in the dollar. We're going to talk about that. Remember, guys, I think when they put fear into anything, right now being the dollar, that is where they're going to be getting in. So when the market crashes, the dollar rises and they get a higher value dollar to buy a lower price market. So be aware and be careful of that. Let's take a look at our next chart here, the S&P. So we're still in this rising channel. So far we got rejected in the middle section. If we do get up to these, 4,400 ranges would be the top of this and then continue down. But if we've topped out here, what are the targets? First target being just a measured move of this rising channel. If we broke down maybe sometime next week, somewhere in the 3,400 range. And then if we look at this whole thing as a bear flag, somewhere in the 2,600 range. Now, we've seen this all before, right? Let me show you right here. Same type thing. So everybody's talking about, let me show you real quick. This is things you need to watch for and be careful, guys. You see, we broke up here. Everyone gets super bullish. And if you look back here, we did the exact same thing. We broke up above it. Everyone got super bullish, only to come down and make new lows. How much lower was that? Now, that's not to say it has to go to that range, but let's just take a measured move there. Or I'm sorry, a measurement there. That was about 53%. Now let's go up here and see what 53% would get us from our top over here. That would get us all the way down to around 2,100. Now, again, not saying it has to go that low. Here are my major targets, 34 and then 26 if 34 breaks. DXY, you guys know my take on the DXY. Thought we'd get our bounce here, but remember I said Bitcoin could go a little higher if we do bounce down below. I think we'll be getting some type of double bottom down here. If you look at the RSI, once we broke out of here, we got this spike up, only to come back down. We do have more room to the downside for the DXY, but either way, I think we'll make a bottom here, and then we'll have a huge rally for the DXY. Again, when people put fear, when the news puts fear into things like the dollar, it's to keep you out of what they're getting into, guys. Remember, if you've watched the news and these markets at the same time for any period of time, they don't do what the news tells you. So just be careful. All right, here's that video. This is from December 2nd, 2021. I even drew in what I thought was going to happen. We'll talk about that. And I gave you the date when I thought Bitcoin was going to bottom. So for those that are saying, the people that didn't listen and say we were bottoming in March, no, that was going to be a false bottom. I believe we've already had our false bottom. I do believe we have a true bottom coming. Listen.
Just done the same thing. What would it look like? What would it look like if we didn't get that?
Before you go any further, look at this low here. And look where I had that spike to, right? Same thing. And again, this was way up here at 57,000 when I was talking about this. All right, let's listen.
At wave 2 I've been looking for. And we just went something like this, back down to the 55 EMA. And 665 days would be in September of 2023.
September in 2023. I still stick to that. As you can see, this was from December, over a year ago. It was December 2nd, 2021. Look at this spike here. Do you see this spike, right? Right up to these lows. We were expecting that. Now, if you guys are interested in trading, before we get into Bitcoin, definitely check out Prime XBT. They do sponsor my channel to help put these videos out for you. So you can use my promo code SAVVY50. It'll get you up to a $7,000 bonus to use towards your margins. SAVVY25 will get you 25% off of your fees. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. They don't trade against you like the scam exchanges. You can trade crypto, forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow Jones, pre-markets, post-markets, everything all from one exchange. All right, so this is our monthly. We are still getting rejected right here. Remember, if we do get above this, the next major resistance is around 32.5, but we have some other targets. Also, we've been looking at the RSI to come back down and retest this. I do believe this will be sometime in September, October, when we get a bounce off of this bottom trend line on the weekly RSI. There's another trend line drawn off of these 2 wicks here. That shows us possibly up to 32.1. That would be the 1.272, which would be a reversal zone if we get up this high. Not saying it's going to go that high. Let's take a look at our daily chart. So this was our target, 28.6. From when we broke out of this triangle right here, or this wedge. See the top white trend line, then the bottom trend line. We take a measured move of the widest point of that. That got us up to this 28.7. Obviously, we got wicks above. These aren't exact. But we've been talking about, if we do break above this and get support, then 31.5 would be my next target if we're going to go any higher. And that being the measured move of this falling wedge right here using the dotted line, right? And then the solid line on the bottom. Take a measured move of the widest point of the wedge right here. That gets you up to, from where it broke, 31.5. So if we do break this 21.7, actually break it and hold above, then we're looking for that 31.5. And I told you months ago when we drew this in here, if we hit here, I would be shorting the crap out of it, which I still will be. I'm short right now with my stops at 29.2. I showed you guys that over here. We almost stopped me out over here at 21.191 on Prime, but we did not. So as of right now, that's still the area I'm looking for. Still short here. If I get stopped out at 29.2, no big deal. I'll be looking for shorts up in this range. As you can see, we have bearish divergence all the way right here. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the RSI. I do think we come back down to this trend line here on the daily for the bottom. Now let's take a look at the 4 hour. Same thing, that 31.5, 31.6, if we're able to maintain above here. It does look like we're making an ending fifth wave diagonal. We could get a spike up to this 29.5. This is the BART pattern I put in the thumbnail. I do think this is his hair. We could get another spike up, like I said, as high as 29.6 or so, which will stop me out. But if we break down below this, I'll just enter another short. But if we hold support here, I will wait for a short up to 31.5, 31.6 range, and then short heavily, like I said months ago. But if we break down from here, right, depending on if, when, and where it breaks this bottom trend line, the first target's going to be around 24.8, 24.6, somewhere in that range. Of course, we have the 200 EMA line around 24.6, probably get a bounce, maybe retest the bottom. But then our next target's around this 23.1 range. If the 23.1 range breaks, and it'll probably take a while, usually it'll come down, maybe bounce around here for a little bit. Then we're looking for 18.9. If 18.9 breaks, guys, we are looking for much lower lows, somewhere around 12.5 to 13 down here. We break that bottom trend line and we go even lower. Here is that same chart, the .com bubble versus the Bitcoin bubble. Still possible to get down to that 35, not necessarily though, but still looking for between 35 and 95. So yes, I'm still looking for new lows, a true bottom in September, October. You can see here, once we broke out this weekly RSI, made the false bottom, which was right here. Same thing, broke the weekly RSI, false bottom. I think we come back down into these low lows for the weekly. And here's another bubble pop. People say you can't compare bubble like Nintendo with Bitcoin. Like I said before, I don't care if it's a pet rock, it's a market. Markets always react the same. They make the same patterns over and over. You can see here in Nintendo, you had a huge rally here, looked huge, just like Bitcoin looks huge, even broke the 55 EMA here. But it didn't do anything but roll over and make a true low. This is a bubble pop pattern. This is a bubble pop pattern. Sony, same thing, bubble pop pattern. You had a few false bottoms here before making the ultimate low. Could it happen like that? If it does, that's going to take years. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but nevertheless, just showing you how the bubble pops always have a big rally, which seems big, right? If you zoom in here, you go in here, that would look huge. After this big drop, everybody probably got really excited right here, only to make lower lows. So yeah, same type of stuff, guys. Be careful. I think traditional markets are still in serious trouble. And I think the DXY is going to find a bottom soon and rally hard and the market drop hard. And when that DXY rallies hard, the smart money will have gotten the DXY at the bottom. They'll ride it all the way up while the markets come down. So they'll have a lot of dollars to buy a lot of cheap stocks. Be careful out there. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, and I'll see you in the next one.